All right, we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Here we go. All right, folks, welcome here to today's Fixed Ops Marketing webcast panel. This is a monthly panel discussion that we've been hosting for the past few months. It's one of 6 different webcast programs that we conduct each month under the Auto Retail webcast series. I am Ryan Girardi, and today is Tuesday, January 28th. So that makes today our first Fixed Ops Marketing panel discussion of the year. We didn't do one in December just because of the mayhem of holidays. But in November, our session was focused on the importance of taking control of your recall business. And prior to that, in October, was parts obsolescence and YouTube marketing. You can catch the archives in many different ways, which I'll share towards the end of this. As for today, we're going to look at a new benchmark online parts and accessories benchmark report brought to you by Revolution Parts. We have Brian Servatius from Revolution Parts going to walk us through that in just a moment. And then we'll take a look at some of the fixed ops related activities at NADA. And we'll go through some of the workshops that are going on there. And all 4 of us, because you'll see we have Owen Moon from Fixed Ops Digital. We have Ed Roberts from Bozard Ford. And there's Brian as well. And we're all going to be at NADA. So towards the last few minutes, we'll be able to talk about all the different activities that we have going on. So gentlemen, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Marketing Panel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks.
So Ed, we're here. We're 1 month into 2020. You're the only dealer in the group. So love to kind of get some contrast from you about life on the fixed ops side starting off 2020.
Well, for us, we've been blessed. We just added on a bunch of additional bays, and really January is my first full month of having that staffed up fairly well. So we're running about 24, almost 25%, 24.6 increase year over year. We'll do a little over almost 1.2 in total fixed ops gross this month. And so certainly blessed on our side. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We're revamping our accessory department. So I'm curious to what Brian's got to say there. Mm-hmm. We're developing a cop shop where we're outfitting some cop cars. Got a technician development program that'll be highlighted in NADA. And then we're building the largest Lincoln dealership in the country that'll be open in July, along with a Ford's Garage restaurant in the corner of it. So a lot of positive stuff happening here.
Largest Lincoln dealership in the country?
Yes.
Is that going to be in St. Augustine or somewhere nearby?
In St. Augustine, right next to us. We bought the Gander Mountain building that closed next to us. Okay. So it's been a project we've been working on for a while, but there's light at the end of the tunnel now.
Do you have Lincoln in the franchise now? I think you do, right?
We're a dual store right now. So yeah, we got Lincoln on one side of the showroom and Ford on the other. Okay,
but now Lincoln's going to branch off to its own.
Going forward, if you're a dual store and you don't plan on separating, you won't have a Lincoln franchise.
Okay. That's the new mandate, huh?
Yes. You got to have a letter of intent by the end of 2020.
Okay. Well, congratulations. That sounds pretty exciting.
Yes.
Great brand. Very good. Very fun brand. Well, good. So welcome back. Brian, I want to turn to you. Revolution Parts. I'm going to bring up the landing page in a moment, but recently came out with its online parts and accessories benchmark report. Maybe you could share with us what some of the key takeaways were from that, and then we'll get into some of the granular aspects of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ryan. So, I mean, a couple of the top level stats that are really interesting here, I think, are so the year closed out over 12 billion in parts and accessory sales. That's U.S. auto parts e-commerce. So the sector is growing really quickly, about 16+% year over year. And franchise dealers or genuine OE parts and accessories have about 20% market share on that. So one of our goals is to really help kind of bend that curve. And from a Revolution Parts perspective, we were really excited. Two big milestones. Our biggest year in sales for our dealer customers ever, at 328 million in gross merchandise volume over the year. And closing out 2019, we did cross over $1 billion in parts and accessories sales since inception as well. So There's a big opportunity here. We're excited to see the volume growing and be able to help our dealers get some of that sales volume.
I think I heard you say 328 million in gross sales aggregately across all of your dealers.
That's correct. Yep.
And how does that compare to last year for you guys, if you can even share that?
It's pretty significant. I think last year we came in, a bit over 200 million. So it's growing quickly. Obviously, we added a lot of dealers as well. But yeah, I mean, the market itself is growing double digits year over year. So, and that's been the case for quite some time. So, yeah, lots of growth opportunity. We're seeing that as well. We see that from our dealer customers that really commit to this part of their business, and the market's there, the sales volume's there, absolutely. So growing nicely.
And to give folks some contrast of your dealers at aggregately at 328 million, how's that compare to and that's US, I'm presuming, how's that compare to the US market as a whole?
Yeah, so I mean, when you look at the total U.S. parts and accessories market, it closed out 2019, I think, according to Hedges and Company, around 12.3 billion, I think, is where it landed. When we think about that, genuine OE parts and accessories being about 20% of that, it's no small number. It's a significant chunk. I mean, when you break that down, that's getting close to 3 billion total addressable. So, we're capturing a really nice chunk of that. Obviously, that's a North Star and one of the main metrics that we think about in our business as we work with our dealers, right? At the end of the day, that's what everybody's trying to do, is drive some solid sales volume.
And the nature of my question, just to clarify for those listening, is to get an idea of the market size, the real potential that's out there as far as the market size goes. I think from what I understand of talking with James Windrow at Revolution Parts, you mentioned the annual sales is around 12 billion. I think just 2 years ago it was around 8 billion. So it gives you an idea of the growth factor. I assume that Amazon and eBay are probably or at least one of the two of the top 5 sellers. Is that accurate? Is that fair?
Yeah, it's very accurate. Not a lot of people, may not know this. I have a background in marketplaces, but, those two marketplaces have been committed to this category for a long time. And you see parts and accessories being, a top 5, top 6 category for them. So when you combine them, that's about 70% of the U.S. Parts and accessories e-commerce market. And, we were excited on eBay. We punched almost 28 million in sales from our dealers, and then over 10 million on Amazon as well. But they're big opportunities, big marketplaces, a ton of eyeballs, and, a really good channel for sort of quick plug and play access to a lot of parts and accessories buyers.
Is most of that sales dealer sales through those channels, or are there lots of other, I guess, third-party sellers as well?
Yeah, no. When you think about, again, that total pie is really everything. So the landscape today is the aftermarket gets the lion's share of that at about 80%. So dealer sales today are only about 20% of that. And I think that's similar across marketplaces as well, but it is growing. I've seen eBay and Amazon both really focus on the OE parts and accessories business. I think traditionally it's been a little slower to adopt. So they realize that there's really good market demand, and what we're seeing and in talking to them is that they're focused on these areas. They do see a good opportunity here, and they're more open to some of the nuances of helping dealers sell on those channels as well.
Now I'm curious, and Owen and Ed, if you guys want to throw questions at Brian, put them, because I think there's a lot of data in the report. But I am curious about, do certain brands have advantages over others in this arena?
Well, what I would say is that it really varies a bit based on, how much the brand themselves have focused on, say, their catalog data, enabling dealers with tools and such. But the breakdown as far as volume might be somewhat along the lines of what you'd expect. General Motors, is kind of, especially in our business, is the lion's share of it at about 56 million. Last year, Ford came in just under 40 million in sales. And then, you have Toyota, Mopar, and Honda kind of number 3, 4, and 5 in that space. So, General Motors and Ford obviously being domestic brands and really having, the largest share of the vehicles on the road, kind of obvious front runners. But we're seeing as more and more brands, like Honda is a great example where they're really investing in their data and sharing it with solutions partners like ourselves to really help grow that piece of the share for their dealers as well. So it's evolving as we go.
I heard you say
and I don't
something
know
about
if you caught that. Sorry, Ed. I'll go ahead.
right.
I'll ask you in a second.
I think I heard you say something about $1 billion in accessories. Or is that $1 million?
Yeah. So accessories for us was about 10% of the volume. So through Revolution Parts, we did about 11% of the business. That was about 40 million last year through our platform. The $1 billion benchmark was really just all parts and accessory sales since inception for Revolution Parts. So that's about 5 years worth of sales. But yeah, last year we specifically from dealers, it was about 328 million.
Okay.
10% accessories today. And I think that's a good point. I mean, I think there's an opportunity in accessories because those are things that you can encourage a customer to influence by. They come to your site, right? They may be looking for something a little more hard parts. But that's something, I mean, you're not going to impulse sell a lower control arm, right, or something similar. But so as we get better data and stuff like that and push accessories, I think there's an opportunity for growth there as well.
And it's easier for dealers to do that because we can just add it to the payment rather than shell out the cash to do it later on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Ed, because I was going to ask how these numbers kind of compare. I mean, you're as a Ford dealer, which is one of the top selling brands. Now, something stood out for me in the video, and Owen, I don't know if this caught your attention, is said only about 15% of dealers, I'm assuming franchise dealers, are selling parts online. So Owen, as Fixed Ops Digital, I know a lot of your emphasis on service and coupons, but what is the conversation with your dealers at this rate when it comes to online parts sales and the marketing behind it?
Yeah, it's a great point of emphasis as we move into 2020. Obviously, as a Fixed Ops digital marketing company, we're handling all aspects of their marketing, service, parts, tires, collision, accessories, that type of thing. Some brands are better than others. I mean, you start getting into accessories, for example, just since we were just talking about that, Jeep, different trucks, they're a lot more of an accessory type business than would you say like a Toyota or a Chevy, a Chevy car. Not a lot of people are decking those cars out with accessories and stuff. Parts kind of the same way. There's certain brands that obviously do better with parts than others. One of the questions I had for Brian, just because we just recently launched a new product for 2020 called our Drive Service Recalls product. And really it's helping our dealerships sort of capture that recall business and drive more recall specific, marketing out there and then bringing that customer to our dealerships. One of the key things that I've had people tell me is that the recalls are great, but it's hard getting the parts. Has Revolution Parts done anything from a recall standpoint to kind of help bridge that gap for a lot of the dealers that you guys are working with? Has that been a point of emphasis, or is that something that you guys have talked about?
Yeah, great question. We know it's an important part of the business at the dealer level. We don't necessarily focus specifically on it, but I think you make a great point that there's an opportunity to understand what those parts are and make sure the availability of those parts is there. Traditionally, with a typical dealer that sells on Revolution Parts, right, through their website, we would allow them to sell the entire catalog. So unless that part had been suppressed or, for any reason, that should be in there, should be available. And usually most dealers can get it from their manufacturer parts distribution center to the dealership within 1 or 2 days to ship back out. So I mean, that's one way we definitely make it available, but would love to kind of explore more if we can identify those. We are working more closely with manufacturers on inventory reads at the distribution centers. So then we can do a little more predictive information around, how quickly we can get it. And especially when you've got that recall in a service bay, obviously that quick turn is important. So great idea.
Well, even,
some basics for there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to just add even ease of use, getting on your website and be able to maybe segment the information to get right to that, Subaru airbag recall or what have you, so that'd be kind of a cool aspect where they don't have to really search. All they got to do is go right to the recall that came out and boom, there's a list of all the parts that could be affected or what have you. So I don't know. I think that's where, we're trying to help make things easy for the customer to say, hey, yeah, there's a recall on that particular vehicle. Here's, where our dealership or the dealership that we're working for can get it done. Obviously, you guys are working directly with the dealership to say, hey, here's an easy and seamless way for you to, take advantage of those or that business by getting those parts that are needed. And I know it's an issue in some cases. So, but.
Yeah, no, it's great feedback. And, we do hear some of that from dealers. So I love you drilling into it. And I think we maybe have some ideas how we can do a little better there. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Well, good. Let's segue into the NADA subject matter. I did put a link, folks, in the live chat console, a link to this report that's on Revolution Parts' website that you can download free. It looks like for another couple of days. At that point, I think you have to do backflips probably to get it. So, so that's in there. And just a recap, we're here at the Fixed Ops Marketing webcast panel discussion. This is one of 6 sessions that we do each month related to auto retail marketing. We have Owen Moon from Fixed Ops Digital, Brian Servatius from Revolution Parts, and Ed Roberts from Bozard Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine. This is streamed live. It's recorded. Once the recording ends, the listing the video will become unlisted. So unless you have a link to the recording, that'd be the only way to watch the recording of this. And there's a couple different ways you can get the recording. One is by going to autoconversion.net and finding this page under Auto Retail Webcast. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Let's look at NADA. We all have a lot of activities going on. I did go to the Fixed Ops tracks under workshops, and there's about 5 or 6, and we'll kind of go through these and see if any stand out for you guys. But we have the Perfect Service Department with David Lewis. He's a pretty known name from Lewis and Associates. Top 10 mobile digital strategies that fill service lanes. Oh, and I'm sure something to chime in there. The road to the parts sale. So directly in line with what we're talking about here. What would you do if you called your new car sales department and heard sales, please hold? Promoting problem solving and strategic thinking in your parts personnel with Georgia Munson from NADA. Fixed Ops customer experience growth, retention, and profit. So Ed, let me just start with you. Any of these pique your interest?
A couple of them do. I always like to pick up different things from that, and seeing some of these, I may skip out on the second half of the roundtable meeting and pick up some of them. But the Perfect Service Department, I like to see what that one's about. And then the one towards the bottom there with the lady from NADA, what was she doing there?
That was Georgia. And all of these, by the way, they're running at least 2 or 3 times. This one here, overcoming service challenges.
No, not the one previous to that, I think it was.
But same presenter.
The growth, the experience for growth, retention, and profit.
Go. David Fouts.
Like little pickup nuggets from there.
David Fouts and
so Tully Williams is the Fixed Ops director at the I think it's pronounced Nelio or Nielo companies. I saw him speak in Beverly Hills at one of the first Fixed Ops roundtables late last year, and he was great. I mean, he definitely knows his stuff, and so I expect that to be I don't know, who is David Feltz with?
X-Time?
He's with X-Time, okay.
Yeah.
So I would assume that that should be a pretty good one. I would bet.
Tully's a very dynamic guy.
Yeah, he's intense. I love it.
Shifting your focus from transaction to customer to give customers the experience they expect. Watch your profits grow. How about for you, Owen? Any the one stood out for me that made me think of you guys was this one: top 10 mobile digital strategies, just because you guys have the digital wallet.
Just to quickly get, yeah. I'm not really sure. I mean, I think isn't Chris with? I think he's with Dealer on. Hopefully it's a little more like any of these guys. I mean, you hope it's informational, not pitchy.
Not too product-y. Show dealers
Yeah,
how to take
exactly.
advantage
But
of their service market shift to mobile devices to quickly catch up. Cool. So
he
let's
does
talk.
have a point though that most of the traffic for mobile or for service these days is mobile. So a lot of what we do as a company is look at mobile first and then work our way back to desktop as well. So,
and contrary to that, I saw in the benchmark report, Brian, that there was a screen that showed for part sales, I think 60% of it or more was desktop compared to mobile, right?
Yeah, which is interesting because what we know is in the web in general today, more than half the traffic is on small screens, phones and tablets, right? So kind of an interesting stat there that, that our consumer base is still a little more heavily using desktops and laptops. So I think that's interesting. Obviously, table stakes, if you want to be online, that your website's got to be mobile optimized, but maybe some nuances that you can play to there as well to merchandise.
Do you think that could be because a lot of your dealers are using it and they're using desktop at work probably?
Yeah, it could be, absolutely. And then the other thing that we know is a lot of the end consumers that just really act like an end consumer are independent repair shops, just shopping through websites, right? Yep. May not necessarily be going through the typical B2B channels. We knew that in marketplaces in my time there, and we do have some sense that that's also the case with our dealers' websites as well.
Makes sense.
Over 2/3 of our traffic comes from mobile, so it's fun to hear the different channels where it comes from. But about 68% of ours is all mobile.
Specific to service website traffic?
Total website traffic, 68% is mobile.
Is mobile.
Yeah.
That's more in line with the national trends. So yeah, I think it is interesting. And yeah, probably some of these are in offices, more of a professional customer than necessarily just a consumer kind of shopping on their phone or tablet. That's the high level takeaway.
All right.
Now, Owen, you had mentioned the Fixed Ops Roundtable by Ted Ing. That's going to be Friday, the 14th.
Yeah, kind of a unique situation, and actually it was a pretty good thinking, I think, on Ted's idea that, a lot of so the expo hall doesn't open until the 15th for NADA, right? The 14th all sessions and things like that. So I know there's been a big push in the last year and a half to try to get more fixed ops directors, service managers, that side of the business to some of these conferences. So Ted put together another Fixed Ops Roundtable. He did a few of them last year, and I know he's got 5 planned this year. But this one is going to be kind of right in line with NADA. It's going to be on Friday, February 14th, and it's going to be an all-day event. So, kind of the nice thing about it is if someone's coming there, they're bringing their Fixed Ops director or, Ed. I think Ed's planning on coming, maybe even jumping on the panel that I'm on. It's going to be something where he can, they can send the Fixed Ops director or whoever they want to the Fixed Ops Roundtable on Friday, and then, Saturday and Sunday and half of Monday, they can focus, their efforts at the NADA Expo Hall. So definitely a good, I think a good scenario if you're trying to maximize your time out there and get the most out of it. And we've been a sponsor of the Fixed Ops Roundtable since the beginning, and we're also sponsoring with them this year. This one, since we had so much going on, I decided to just jump on a panel. But obviously, either myself or Kevin or somebody from our organization will be speaking at the other ones in future dates. But it's got a good lineup. Got a lot of good speakers. Some good, our keynote speaker is Brian Benstock, as you can see there. Brian's a passionate guy, very well known, especially on the East Coast, for what he's doing, and just a lot of really good, content in a real short period of time. So
This is the third or fourth event that he's been able
this
to do?
one will be the fourth one. Yep.
Oh,
There was
Fourth.
Yep. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Cool.
did Beverly Hills and New Jersey were the two that I attended, and there was another one in New York earlier in the year. And then I think this year he's going Las Vegas, Chicago, Atlanta, New Jersey, and Dallas. And I don't know what order those are, but then and in addition to that, of course, Fixed Ops Digital has a huge event planned. We are attending the AWA Awards on Wednesday, February 12th. We are up for an AWA award for the Fixed Ops segment. It's an event that Brian Pash puts on every year. We have a booth at NADA. It's our first booth, booth 1521C. So if any dealers are coming, definitely stop by, say hi, learn a little bit more about what we're doing in the space for dealerships, and just a lot going on in a very short period of time. So it'll be pretty intense. I know when I get back home, I'll be catching up on some sleep, that's for sure. So
You are on the road a lot. There is no doubt. So
yeah.
booth 1521C.
Yep.
And then
It's actually in the section with the new, all the new vendors. We're in like a new vendor area, so which is kind of cool. So.
And then you mentioned the hockey game. How's that coming along? You guys, from what I understand, we got 7 or 8 companies participating in that with each about 25 tickets each. Is that right?
Yeah, we're putting on this Golden Knights experience. It's a opportunity for 8 companies to kind of come together. We rented out an entire segment of the I guess you could say it's like a wing or a flight of where there was a bunch of tickets that we could buy. So all 8 companies went in and purchased a certain number of tickets, and everyone's kind of been using it differently. Some people have been saying, hey, let's bring people for demos and on that day and then give them tickets. Other people are using it for like some of their current customers or customer appreciation, that type of thing. So yeah, if you can find that, I think on our website also, there's I think there's all the different companies that are there. And if not, we'll get that added. But, it is an invite. You got to, unfortunately, with like NFL tickets, or NHL games, NFL games, stuff like that, you got to have an actual ticket to get in the game. So, we haven't promoted it all overly heavily with like the general public, just because you can't just show up and go. And so, without hurting feelings and stuff, we just, we're kind of keeping it as a invite only. And, we're excited to, it should be about 100 dealers there that, will be mingling, and free food, free booze, that kind of thing. So yeah, it seems to get dealers, right? Free food, free booze, good action on the hockey rink. So
Ed, hopefully I got you an invite just now.
There you go.
hold on one second.
Brian, Revolution Parts booth 736C. I know I'm going to be
That's
there
right.
Saturday morning, doing some interviews with you guys, and then you're going to have a crew out on the expo hall doing a man on the street, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we've got a couple people that are just going to go out and, talk to different participants, different dealers and stuff, and just, kind of a little bit fun, a little bit informational, right? Ask some kind of quizzy questions, see the answers we get, and then we'll aggregate it after and kind of pull it all together, do some editing, and then share that with our customers as well. So should be cool. It's our first year doing that particular thing.
Well, I think anything you can do out of the box thinking is good. Owen and his team have been phenomenal, both through Digital Dealer and driving sales. Owen, you guys are just really, I love seeing the videos come out because you're actually getting them done. A lot of times we get all this content made and it's hard to get it out the door. So, Ed, have you caught?
Yeah, we've been a little quiet this year, but just kind of ramping up for NADA. We knew we had but we've been busy. I mean, we've been adding new clients and working on some things. But I'd say once NADA hits and then kind of moving into the rest of this year, we expect to get some really good content out there as well. Content's great because it helps people that can't attend these. I've talked to a lot of people. I said, hey, you're going to NADA, and they're like, hey, our principal or our general manager, our owner just won't send us. And it's too bad because I think it's a great way for people to learn, in a very short period of time. But by putting some of that content out there, we kind of put it out there over that 3-4 month period. I think it gave, people that weren't able to attend kind of the what they missed, and maybe even a little education along the way. So.
This NADA show will be, I think, a good testament. That I think attendance at some of the sub conferences, the minor conferences, have kind of waned over the past couple of years. So we'll see how that sizes up this year at NADA. Now, Ed, you're going to be there. Anything special, significant? Any mission you got going on while you're there?
I always want to see what the new technology is. Technology evolves rapidly. So working out of 3 different buildings now, I want to see what kind of technology I can pull together to strengthen our communication. And Owen, going back to his stuff, he's got a great product. We live in a space that is often forgot about in the dealership world. It's just a necessary evil that sits back there, and there's never any content. And Owen brings a lot of valuable content to some of those pages.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Well, just for some closure, as I mentioned, I'll be with Revolution Parts Saturday in the AM. And Ed, I've got you lined up Sunday at the QB Business Solutions booth. I don't know if you're familiar with QB Business Solutions. They do warranty reimbursement for dealers.
I'm not familiar with them, but I'll find them.
Yeah, that's at booth 3888C. So that's in the C Hall as well. I know I'll be there Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning. They've got some new breakthroughs that have opened up business opportunities, for their little niche they do. And then it looks like Sunday in the afternoon, I'll be doing a mobility as a service panel at Uber for Business in their booth. And that's a fixed ops tie in there. That's why I brought it up. Uber for Business is effectively a fixed ops mobility as a service solution. And, they've been on the automotive scene now, I think almost 3 years. So they're starting to, I think, break through a little bit into a new, just kind of crossing that chasm a little bit. So, and then I saw Owen on the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I saw Update Promise on there.
Yeah.
They have a service lane technology solution, and I think we'll be doing a fixed ops panel there on Monday morning. So,
okay,
stuff you could get involved with. Ed, I don't know when you're going back, but lots of
let me know. I mean,
stuff.
I can maybe swing over there and jump on that if you guys want me to. So,
Yep, they're putting that panel together, and I'll be there moderating and then making podcasts out of it. So. Let me go ahead and wind down, but gentlemen, great to be here with you, and thanks for taking the time to get on here with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So we'll let those guys go ahead and exit if they need to go. And like I said, folks, this was our Fixed Ops Marketing Roundtable panel discussion. This is one of 6 different auto retail marketing webcasts that we do pretty much every month, just like this. It's a Zoom webinar. We stream it live on YouTube, we record it, and then we feature it on the Auto Converse podcast. If you'd like to participate on these as a panelist, all you do is register for whichever series or session. You only have to register for the series once. Once you're registered, you're automatically included and invited to any upcoming session within that individual series. And the benefit of doing so is you're in the video, you get tagged in social media, and then when we do videos and articles and stuff, you're included in that information as well. Let me fix something related to my camera that I just realized might be, here we go. I think, I don't know how I can change that other than stop sharing. There we go. Go back to that. I know I gotta unpin that. There we go. And then just as a final note, we do have a LinkedIn group that you can join. It's an unlisted group, but if you look under community, you will see a link to our LinkedIn group and our Slack member network. All of these webcasts are archived in our Slack member network. So you can always have access to the information that's in these, and the podcasts and the webcasts and the blogs, and access to all other members that are in there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and wind down. Thanks again, folks, for tuning in, and have a great rest of the week. And we'll see you at NADA.